He's been dodging questions about her for at least 2 months. I mean, there was also this incident where somebody asks about her love scenes, and he abruptly ends the interview, and you could tell that he's angry.
And then, what do you know? There are these videos that come to light that seem to show him being flirty with this Maggie woman on stage, who, again, like we said, is only 25 years old, and changing the lyrics of songs, a song, The Fighter, that he wrote for Nicole Kidman, changing the lyrics, that were about her to something that was about Maggie.
Well. Look who just blew up his own marriage without any help from addiction. Keith Urban always feared his demons would destroy his life with Nicole Kidman. But surprise, he's perfectly capable of wrecking it sober. And just as divorce rumors hit their peak, fans uncovered explosive footage proving this train wreck didn't happen overnight. But before we analyze that smoking gun, let's rewind to the moment the bomb dropped, all because of one brazen lyric change. Picture the scene, a crisp Friday night in Minnesota. The stadium roared as Keith Urban, bathed in golden light, flashed that famous grin and launched into The Fighter. A song that was never for fans or fame, but a sacred vow to one woman, Nicole Kidman. Written in their fragile early years, it was his promise to stand between her and the world. For nearly a decade, he never changed the line. When they're trying to get to you, baby, I'll be the fighter. But that night, everything shifted. As lights dimmed, Keith turned to his young guitarist and sang, "When they're trying to get to you, Maggie, I'll be your guitar player." The crowd froze. Whispers erupted into disbelief, then laughter as countless phones captured the moment. And just like that, a scandal was born. Maggie wasn't random. She was Maggie Bohr, the 25-year-old prodigy who'd been playing violin since 6, performed at Carnegie Hall by 11, and traded classical roots for Nashville fame. Keith spotted her spark, and she joined his tour, becoming the show's heartbeat. Then came that single haunting word. Within hours, the clip went viral. Maggie even posted it herself, asking, "Did he just say that?" A question that would echo across every entertainment headline for days to come. She tried to edit the post, but the damage was done. The rumor mill was already spinning out of control, and the timing? Absolutely brutal. Just 72 hours later, on September 30th, 2025, Nicole Kidman officially filed for divorce in Nashville, ending her 19-year marriage to Keith Urban. Court documents listed their separation as the very same day. Insiders revealed the marriage had actually died months earlier. A quiet death far from the public eye, and the split was, as one source brutally admitted, completely one-sided. Nicole had fought to save it. Keith, they said, had already checked out. She was left shattered, feeling utterly betrayed, and completely blindsided by how fast it all collapsed. But why did that one lyric cut so deep? It wasn't just the new name, it was the sacred promise it erased. The Fighter was never just a song. It was a love letter he'd recited to the world, born from a conversation where a vulnerable Nicole confessed her fears of heartbreak. Keith had promised that when the world attacked, he would be her shield. The line, "I'll be the fighter," was his vow. And nearly 2 decades later, he rewrote that vow on stage for millions to see. For everyone who believed in them, it was like watching a promise publicly unravel. Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman were supposed to be the exception. He was the New Zealand-born, Australian-raised country star who battled addiction and chaos. She was Hollywood's golden goddess, holding her own with Kubrick, Scorsese, and the Monterey wives of Big Little Lies. Together, they were the definition of resilience. Even when Keith spoke of his demons, he always called Nicole his anchor, the one who dragged him from the darkness. He once said of their 2006 wedding, "We got married in June, and barely 4 months in, my addictions blew our marriage to smithereens. If you want to see what love in action really looks like, give that a whirl." Nick pushed through every negative voice, even her own, and she chose love. She was the one who checked him into rehab. She was the one who stayed when it was easier to leave. They survived that. They survived Hollywood's glare. They survived distance and insane schedules, until suddenly they didn't. Looking back, the clues were everywhere. In June 2025, Nicole posted her final anniversary tribute to him. "Happy anniversary, baby." A week later, they posed together at the FIFA Club World Cup, all fake smiles for the cameras. By July, Keith was back on tour, and Nicole was in London, filming Practical Magic 2. The distance was more than just geographical. It was the beginning of the end. An ocean apart and a chasm growing wider by the day. Fans who were really listening caught the telltale crack in the facade during Keith Urban's July radio chat with Jonesy and Amanda. A clip now forever preserved in the digital Hall of Shame. When asked if fate crafted his epic love story with Nicole Kidman, his hesitation screamed louder than any guitar solo. His clipped, cold replies said it all. The warmth had vanished. It was, we now know, the sound of a flatlining marriage. By late summer, they were ghosts in each other's lives. Nicole's social media scrubbed him clean. A family photo dump on August 19th had a Keith-shaped hole. Then, on August 29th, he signed the marital dissolution agreement, the paper kill shot. Nicole signed her own on September 6th, locking in a co-parenting plan for their daughters, Sunday Rose and Faith Margaret. To the world, they were still 4 couple goals. In reality, the curtain had already fallen. Then came Minnesota. Then came Maggie. And that name, oh, that name made the entire scandal so much messier. Because Maggie Bohr wasn't some random groupie. She was a legit prodigy, a scandal-free virtuoso who earned her stripes. But with one look from Keith and one altered lyric, she was shoved center stage into a drama she never auditioned for. And Nicole, she said nothing. No cryptic posts, no sad quotes, just that legendary quiet dignity. The day after filing for divorce, she was spotted hiking with her sister Antonia. Paparazzi swarmed, but her expression, a soft smile, a hand over her heart, said everything. Poised, graceful, yet forever marked by a marriage crumbling in slow motion. For 19 years, we bought the highlight reel, the red carpet clutches, the award show whispers, the loving gazes. But behind the scenes in 2025, a different story. Nicole was in London for Practical Magic 2. Keith was blazing across North America on his tour. They tried, the frantic FaceTimes, the surprise visits, but it was never enough. Keith never sees Nicole, an insider confessed. They were just going through the motions. And by early summer, even the motions had stopped. She was always the architect of their stability. Through the chaos of his addiction, the rehab stints, the rocky comeback, Nicole Kidman was the unwavering foundation. She called him her rock. He called her his saving grace. But even saving graces get exhausted. Insiders told Us Weekly that Nicole fought desperately to salvage their union. But Keith Urban had already checked out. The heartbreaking truth dawned slowly. First in their separate lives, then in the painful realization that they were no longer showing up for each other. Keith was lost in his tour, chasing a new sound and a new identity. Nicole, the consummate professional, was buried in her film work. They told themselves the distance was temporary, until they finally understood it wasn't distance. It was a total disconnection. Long before the paperwork, those close to them confirmed Keith was already emotionally absent. The moment of truth came on July 24, 2025. Nicole attended a residency appointment in Portugal completely alone. Keith, who had promised to be there, was performing in the US that night. A small snub, but for Nicole, it was a devastating sign. A friend told people she wanted to start a new chapter. He was still living the old one. What followed was a slow, continental unraveling. In late August, Keith signed the marital dissolution agreement in Nashville. It was notarized, detailed, and utterly final. This wasn't just a legal document. It was the quiet death of a partnership. It laid out a co-parenting plan for their daughters, Sunday Rose, 17, and Faith Margaret, 14, mandating a stable, loving environment and forbidding either parent from disparaging the other. Nicole signed her copy on September 6, 2025, formally accepting the outcome she never wanted. By the time that lyric went viral, the decision was already made. The irony was brutal. Keith had spent years explaining that The Fighter was born from a moment when Nicole confessed her fear of being hurt again. She had already survived a public divorce from Tom Cruise and rebuilt her life in the global spotlight. For Nicole, the betrayal wasn't just in the words, it was in the timing. She knew that song was their anthem, their private history set to music. So when she saw the video, and she saw it almost immediately, it was the final, cruel confirmation of all her recent fears. The look on his face, the casual charm, the way he aimed the line at his young guitarist. It all screamed what he had never said aloud. To her, it wasn't a joke. It was a knife to the heart. And just like that, the rumor mill went nuclear. TMZ ran with the story, citing Nashville insiders who claimed Keith Urban had moved on with someone in the business. And all signs pointed to one woman. The math was brutal. Keith, 57. Maggie Bohr, 25. A 32-year age gap that wrote its own tabloid headline. A 32-year age gap that wrote its own tabloid headline. No photos of them together outside of work ever surfaced. But facts were irrelevant now. The court of public opinion had reached its verdict. Fans swarmed social media, calling it a textbook midlife crisis. Reddit threads branded Maggie a homewrecker. One viral post sneered, "Nicole's stepkids from Tom Cruise are older than Maggie. This is absurd." A few brave voices defended her, arguing she was just a musician caught in the crossfire. But once the internet appoints a villain, innocence is a forgotten concept. Maggie Bohr, for her part, tried to maintain radio silence. She kept posting her music clips and behind-the-scenes content, pretending her name wasn't trending for all the wrong reasons. But her quiet defiance was deafening. Every post was instantly flooded with venom. "You ruined a family. Nicole deserved better. You should be ashamed." The mob was merciless. It didn't matter that there was zero proof of an affair, or that tour crews said Keith treated her as a protege, not a paramour. Perception had already bulldozed the truth. One article from the Hollywood Gossip called the attacks unfair and misogynistic, pointing out how conveniently the blame landed on the young woman, not the established man. But online outrage has never cared for nuance. To truly grasp why this felt like such a profound betrayal, you have to rewind to the very beginning. Nicole Kidman met Keith Urban in 2005 at a Los Angeles event called G'day LA. She said she knew instantly he was charming, sweet, and humble. Nothing like the Hollywood men she knew. They married just a year later in June 2006. It was a fairy tale beginning that almost ended 4 months later when his addiction resurfaced, and he entered the Betty Ford Center. Nicole stayed. He later said, "If you want to see what love in action really looks like, give that a whirl." Nick pushed through every negative voice. She chose love. That story became their bedrock, proof their love could survive anything. But even the strongest foundation crumbles under the weight of time and distance. In the years that followed, their lives became a whirlwind of conflicting schedules. Her career jetting her from London to Los Angeles to Sydney. His music taking him everywhere else. For a while, against all odds, it worked. They played the part perfectly for years. Joint appearances, milestone celebrations, and interviews dripping with mutual admiration. But as Nicole Kidman's career ascended to new heights with powerhouse roles in 9 Perfect Strangers, The Undoing, and Baby Girl, a source told People that Keith Urban began to feel sidelined. The same source revealed a painful imbalance. Nicole was his unwavering champion through music and recovery, but that support was rarely reciprocated. Now, for the cold, hard numbers. The divorce unveils a staggering financial empire. A combined net worth exceeding $325 million, with a property portfolio spanning 11 homes from Nashville to Portugal, valued at around $56 million. Their Nashville estate will likely remain with Nicole as the primary home for their daughters. Tennessee law prefers equitable distribution, fair, not always equal. And thanks to ironclad prenuptial agreements, no alimony is expected. It's a clean, clinical, and brutally efficient split. And that is the true tragedy. That a love story forged in fire and rescue could be extinguished with a few notarized signatures. But the emotional debt is far from paid. For Nicole, this is her second very public collapse, having already endured a divorce from Tom Cruise amidst the glare of Hollywood's strangest religion. Yet before the storm, before the scandal, there was something pure, something breathtakingly tender and true. A love story that felt bulletproof. Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban were more than a couple. They were a living portrait of hope, a perfect harmony of Hollywood grace and Nashville grit. They made us believe, even for a moment, that love could conquer all. It began quietly at the G-Day USA Gala in Los Angeles in January 2005. Nicole was already an Oscar-winning global icon, a woman who had everything yet longed for something real. Keith was on the brink of stardom, a country boy from New Zealand raised in Australia, who had fought his way up from small-town gigs. His album Be Here had gone platinum, but behind the easy smile was a man wrestling with addiction and insecurity. That night, everything shifted. She felt a lightning bolt of connection. He was too intimidated to call her, holding her number for 4 months, convinced she was out of his league. When he finally dialed, their lives changed forever. Their first conversations weren't about fame. They talked about fear, faith, and childhood dreams. They rode motorcycles under Tennessee skies, sat beneath the stars, and built a private world that belonged only to them. For two souls constantly hunted by flashbulbs, this private world was their sacred refuge. In June 2006, they married in a Sydney candlelit ceremony, surrounded only by those who mattered most. Nicole Kidman glowed in a Balenciaga gown, a small Bible in her hands. Keith Urban wept as she walked towards him. No intrusive cameras, no staged moments, just raw, whispered vows mingling tears with laughter. Their wedding photos captured them clutching hands as if their very magic depended on it. This was built to last forever, but real love stories are never fairy tales. Just 4 months later, the dream shattered. Keith checked into the Betty Ford Center, relapsing into alcohol and cocaine addiction. The world gasped. Tabloids circled, predicting the end. Yet Nicole never wavered. She stood by him with a fierce loyalty born from deep understanding. Friends begged her to protect herself, but she refused. "It's not about walking away when things get hard," she later explained. "It's about holding on." Keith, in turn, would forever say she saved his life. That phrase became their legend, echoed in interviews, murmured on red carpets, etched into lyrics. The woman who had every right to walk away chose to stay. In that profound act, they evolved from lovers into unbreakable partners, bound not by perfection, but by sheer resilience. Their second chance was quieter, steadier. Keith returned to Nashville, his music now dripping with vulnerability and gratitude. His 2006 album, Love, Pain, and the Whole Crazy Thing, was a testament to his battles and her gifts: forgiveness, patience, unwavering belief. Meanwhile, Nicole discovered the normalcy she'd craved since childhood. She embraced a domestic life far from Hollywood's glare. The Kidman urban home became a true sanctuary. No paparazzi, no entourages, just the strum of a guitar, the aroma of home-cooked meals, and two people healing together. In July 2008, their daughter Sunday Rose was born. Faith Margaret followed in December 2010 via surrogate. Motherhood brought a new softness to Nicole. Fatherhood anchored Keith. Their girls became the very center of their universe, living proof that love could not just survive, but truly flourish. For a beautiful, fleeting time, they lived in near anonymity, floating between Nashville and Sydney. To their neighbors, they were just normal. Church on Sundays, backyard barbecues, Keith mowing the lawn while Nicole shuttled the girls to ballet. They had traded red carpets for front porches, flashbulbs for fireflies. And in these golden, quiet years, Keith wrote his most intimate music. Songs like Without You and Parallel Line breathed with the intimacy of their life together. Every lyric a quiet triumph, a testament to their hard-won gratitude. He never hesitated to call Nicole Kidman his muse, his constant. Every song I write, he once confessed, is a conversation with her. For Nicole, these were her golden years. She could have coasted on the glory of Moulin Rouge and the hours, but instead, she launched what critics hailed as her second peak. Raw, brave roles in Rabbit Hole, Big Little Lies, and The Undoing transformed her from a porcelain beauty into an emotional powerhouse. And through it all, Keith Urban was her anchor. He stood at premieres, applauded at award shows, and hovered proudly in the background of every photo, the steady hand holding hers as she faced the world. When she won her Emmy for Big Little Lies in 2017, her speech was short, but shattered a million hearts. "My husband," she wept. "You are my rock, my love, my everything." This was no act. It was pure gratitude. Their charm was their imperfection. They had stared into chaos and survived. They saw each other at their most broken, their most vulnerable, their most human, and they chose to stay. Theirs was a love built not just on passion, but on gritty endurance. When Keith wrote The Fighter in 2016, he revealed its origin. One of their earliest conversations, a night Nicole confessed her terror of being shattered again. "What if I fall?" she asked. "Then I'll be the one who fights for you," he promised. That vow became a song, and that song became their anthem. It wasn't just a chart topper. It was a declaration to the world. On stage, when he sang "I'll Be the Fighter," everyone knew it was for her. Off stage, Nicole would join him for playful duets, their unguarded laughter and undeniable connection making them feel less like celebrities and more like us. The public adored them because they represented a nearly extinct artifact, a love that felt pure, unmanufactured, unscripted. They weren't a brand, they were a heartbeat. Their secret? Nicole once revealed, "We don't text. We talk every single day, no matter where we are in the world." A simple rule, but it was their tether. She described their marriage not as effortless, but as sacred. Something worth fighting for. Something they both protected. For Keith, it was the foundation of his recovery, his music, his very life. "I wake up next to her," he said years before the end, "and think, how did I get so lucky?" Together they seemed unstoppable. They had achieved the impossible. A perfect balance between personal joy and professional triumph. Nicole was collecting awards. Keith was selling out arenas. And at home, they were simply mom and dad. Their daughters, Sunday and Faith, grew up shielded from Hollywood's chaos in a home where love wasn't an act for the cameras, but a constant, quiet presence. This was the great paradox of their fame, their genius for guarding a sacred private life while existing so publicly. They never had to flaunt their intimacy. It simply radiated from them. The stolen glances on red carpets, the whispered jokes, the way his gaze would find her and make everything else disappear. Those weren't staged for the press. They were fleeting windows into a truly rare connection. So when people talk about their split now, they often erase the beautiful history that came before. They forget the years when this couple didn't just conquer fame, but conquered their own deepest demons. They forget the Nashville mornings with Keith strumming his guitar as the girls got ready for school. They forget the Sydney evenings with Nicole cooking while he hummed a new melody in the background. They forget this story was never about glamour. It was about grace. Before the silence, there was laughter. Before the distance, there was devotion. Before the heartbreaking end, there were nearly 2 decades of choosing each other, again and again. And that is the undeniable truth of their love story. It wasn't a perfect fairy tale, but it was fiercely, beautifully real. For almost 20 years, they built a world where love was enough. Enough to heal the deepest wounds. Enough to endure the toughest trials. Enough to redefine what survival truly means. Every great love story leaves behind an echo, a resonance that lingers long after the final note has faded. For Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban, that echo still hums, through his songs on the radio and in the hearts of everyone who ever believed in what they represented. Thanks for watching. If this story moved you, check out our other videos on the channel. We break down the real stories behind the headlines.